All right. Good afternoon, everyone. It's Friday, end of the week, end of May. And this is Brian with Texas Treasures doing the weekly Reseller Roundtable. On this, I like to just kind of chat about the week in reselling, just kind of keep up with what's going on myself. Any questions anybody has out there, feel free to drop them in the chat. I'll try to answer them the best that I can. Also, if you are looking for wholesale clothing, I am now doing that in addition. I'm doing, well, I can do more, but the minimum would be 50 pieces. Now, these are going to be mall brands, sometimes better, that you should be able to triple your money or more on. And then I can ship them to you for $250, which includes shipping. Or if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, I had a couple of viewers picked up a couple 50 pieces this week. It would be $200. So today, just want to talk about reselling, answer any questions anybody might have. And if anybody wants to order wholesale clothing, you can email me at texastreasuresfinds@gmail.com, and we can go from there. All right. See, Craig's in the chat. So I guess this week, I don't know. Like for me, this week it's been a little different. Like I was talking about, I'm selling shoes. Like that's my niche right now. I used to sell clothing, so I still have access to clothing. And I was just thinking recently, it's a shame because I know some people just struggle finding clothing, or their prices are too expensive. So I said, why don't I offer some wholesale clothing? This past week, I got 5 orders, so that's not too bad for me. 4 of them are complete. I'm working on my 5th one. 2 were local pickups. Couple subscribers. I appreciate that, by the way, guys. And I got a third one that I'm working on completing. It's a larger order. Should be done maybe this weekend, if not early next week. So I got that going on. That usually doesn't take a lot of my time, which is why I did it. But with anything else, once you kind of deviate from your main niche or what you're doing, it is kind of surprising. Like even the mental brain power, I guess. Like it kind of diverts and gets me sidetracked. So my goal is to have that be just a little side business, hopefully, where I get repeat customers. That's the goal, trying to send them good stuff where they'll be happy, get some repeat customers, help them make money. I can make a little bit of money on the side, and then I keep growing the shoe business, which is my main thing. So let me see. This week I've been getting, I'm only doing 10 listings a day, and I'm putting 5 in the draft bank. I'm trying to build up that draft bank. Once I get a week's worth of my draft bank built up, I think then I'll slowly start increasing the listing total, because 10, 15 shoes a day is, I feel like I'm barely cruising. I know I can do way more. I know I could do up to 30, but the thing with shoes, I also have to have see Clay's out there in the chat. I know Clay's been sourcing for me today, doing a good job as usual, I am sure. So that's, that's kind of what's been going on. Shoe sales, they had been really, I would say really strong. Like my eBay store, let me look. I think it's slowly selling down. I peaked at like 6,000 items in my eBay store a couple of months ago when I was doing clothing. And once I switched to shoes, let me see. Yeah, I'm at 5,593 active. And probably of those 5,593, I don't know, probably 4,700, 4,800, maybe 4,900 are still clothing items. And then the rest are shoes, and slowly the shoe ratio is growing. Also, part of my daily routine is I'm going back and fixing my old listings. Actually made a video on that. When I was using a VA or VAs, also using Hammock and Sellhound, And a lot of those old listings, even though they're on sale, up to a 60% off sale, and that is moving quite a bit of that old inventory because there are some really good deals in there. Some that's still not moving because people can't find it. And so I go back and I fix between 10 to 20 of my oldest listings today. A matter of fact, Chris, I'm in Daily Refinements group with Tech and Sports. On the morning call, his prompt was, what could you do? What's something you could do to get 2 more listings up per day? And I was thinking about it, and something I could do is, get all those old listings corrected. And it just takes time because to fix 10 listings, I end all 10, and then I go back, I look at the pictures, I correct the titles because my VAs just didn't do a good job, and it's not their fault. I didn't train them well because about a year ago, I really didn't know how to list clothing very well, to be honest. And I do a lot more. I can do a lot better now. So I go back, I fix the titles, the item specifics. For example, today there was one of the ones I corrected was a pair of vintage Wrangler jeans from like the 60s or 70s. And these were 34 by 34. And my VA had that listed as in the women's category. And I'm like, well, no wonder this thing hadn't sold in a year. It's not even the right gender. But of course, I launched that listing, and I'm responsible for it. So now it's in the right category. I cleaned up the title. I did some other things, and as I'm doing that, those are selling. And I'm also adjusting the prices. Like sometimes I'll find, like, say maybe a pair of Lucky Brand jeans in there, and they're marked down so low where they're $4, $5, $6, $7 like that. Like, I'm like, why haven't they sold? Once I fix them, and then I go back into Terapeak and look at the current pricing on those, it's like they're selling, like, for example, for those could be selling for $25 to $30 plus shipping. And so I clean up that listing, I fix it, I fix the price, and then oftentimes those will sell within a month of being corrected, whereas they had sat in my store for a year and probably the last several months at, like, say, $5 on a drastic markdown sell. Well, why didn't those sell so cheap? They should have, because they were a great deal. The only conclusion you can draw is that people weren't able to find them because the listings were very poorly done. So fixing those old listings, if you have bad listings, is very important. Clay says, if you want me to join, please put the link in the chat. Yeah, Clay makes my life difficult. He doesn't Facebook or Messenger on his phone. Of course, he could easily add that and make my life easier. But yes, Clay, let me open StreamYard and I will. And here's the thing. Once I put Clay in, it makes it easy. It's always easier when you have a second person. But the wheels may fall off of this because Clay will go in some weird tangents. Keeping Clay focused is a full-time job in itself. Anybody, as a matter of fact, anybody else that wants to join, Craig, Tommy, there's the link. Feel free to join the live. Craig said, I would have a hard time with paying a VA to do listings. If I have to take pictures, I've done 80% of the work. Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, I've come around on that. I've realized once you learn how to do it quickly, you can basically do it as fast as it would take to proof your VA's work. And I wasn't proofing my VA's work, which was the problem. But I wouldn't say like I don't know. Creating a listing does not take that long if you're niche down and you're selling similar. And I didn't know that back then. Tommy says, next year eBay will be sued for using genders. Everything will be one. Yeah, hot sports take there. Yep, there's the link. Clay. Yeah, Craig's talking about sell similar. Yeah, sell similar is the secret sauce. And if you're selling in one niche, it's a lot easier to sell similar because you're going to have a lot of those items to choose from. So yeah, I agree. What's up, Clay? How's Clay's caddy rolling?
Good. We could do candy bar talk, people.
Yeah,
When you're listing,
you.
when you're listing or taking pictures, what's your favorite candy bar? See, I'm tying in.
Oh, okay. All right, that's better.
Yeah.
Let me
See,
say.
only.
Well, I'm not a big snack person, but like if I'm having a candy bar, that's a good question. Favorite candy bar? I mean, Snickers is a classic. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, probably a Snickers. Like I don't know. Snickers. Reese's. I don't know if that counts as a candy bar, but the Reese's peanut butter cups, those are actually my
Yeah.
favorite.
Those are. Yeah.
They just have to be cold, like in the fridge.
Oh, the Reese's in a. I don't know if I guess I've done that. I've done Twix is better in the fridge, and Snickers I like in the fridge. This is a Nestle Crunch. And since I gave chocolate up for Lent, like I did have a Nestle last week, and it's okay. The only reason I got this because I'm gonna go donate plasma, and I need to eat something before, and I'm like, but now I'm like, yeah, candy bars, which is good that I'm not gonna eat as many candy bars.
Yeah,
So
Craig said he just raided his son's stash of bottle caps earlier.
bottle caps. I
Yeah,
never liked. I always thought those are like a poor man's sweet tart.
yeah, that's kind of low on the totem pole, personally. But hey, but sometimes when you don't have what you want, you got to go with what you have available.
Yeah. What is Paul Simon? Love the one you're with. Yeah. Simon and Garfunkel or whatever.
Yeah, Craig.
So I got some Nike, one pair of Nike women's Nike running shorts, some Hudsons, some Levi's, a few American Eagles. What else did I say in that text? I can't think. Oh yeah, Good American jeans. Got one pair, and I feel like I missed a couple. And I went back trying to find it, but maybe I imagined it or something. But they're like a $30-something pair of jeans,
Mm-hmm.
maybe more.
Good American is good. Is bueno. Hey, there's Scott, Dumpster Diver Dad, in the chat. What's going on, Scott?
Let's see. Oh yeah,
Um,
carpool karaoke. Ooh, Tommy, that's a good idea for when my buddy and I. Oh, Brian, we actually did film when I was driving Chad earlier. We had an idea that hit us, so we just started a video, but we got 2 minutes, and it spawned several other ideas of weird videos. So
well, ideas are good. I like that you
get
actually filmed. Clay and I've been talking a lot, like action. Like it's, I think, because I lead the book club in our group, and we talk a lot about this stuff. The reasons many people love the planning part and the brainstorming is because you feel like you've actually done something, but you really haven't. You've come up with the idea, but the action has to take place. Like, and I've been in this situation too, where you want to plan everything out, you want to figure out all the possible issues, but you never get anything done. So you actually just have to jump into it and learn as you go, and that goes for reselling. That goes for really anything. So
anything. Yeah.
yeah, I'm glad you filmed. So let's get it rolling. Um, Clay's been brainstorming some ideas for his channel.
Tomorrow, the driving one that I told you about, we're gonna go film that. Probably go see Top Gun with Angie, and then go let Chad take the wheel. Right, y'all are like, why? This guy just, you'll see when I get the other channel going, like why it's interesting.
Yeah. Well, if you see Clay driving a different car, you'll know why.
Then you'll know why. And I'll be like, oh.
A loner they'll have a little what's a real little car, like a little smart car, just loaded up
Or
with clothes.
Toyota Yaris.
Yeah, just loaded up with clothes. Yeah, I was telling everybody at the beginning, Clay, like the kind of like what's up with me. Like it's still shoes, the wholesale, which Clay's been helping me. secure like items that we're selling wholesale for people, and we've got 5 customers this week already, which is pretty good. And like the whole thing is like for me, it's just like a supplement because it doesn't take a whole lot. Like when I'm out sourcing for shoes, if I see clothing that makes sense that I know that I would pick up that what used to sell for me, I'll pick it up. And of course, Clay, he sources for someone else. So while he's doing that, he's also sourcing for me. So he's making some money. I'm making some money. Hopefully the customers are making some money. So that's kind of the new thing this week, but I don't want that to sidetrack my shoes. And as Clay knows, like I have squirrel brain. Like it's gotten better. It's like less and less squirrel brain, even though it kind of popped up a little bit today.
Yeah, he sent a text and I just sent back like laughing emoji and like 10 squirrels, whatever. Yeah.
Oh, one other thing. Well, we can talk about that, but one other thing, talking about squirrel brain. I don't think this was necessarily squirrel brain.
No, it's different.
Well, all right, hold on that one. Let me go back to the one that already occurred, then we'll get back to this one. So, I'm selling shoes. So I'm looking for places where I can get shoes and clothing in bulk at a good price. And so I used to do, one of my squirrel brains was storage units. I used to do storage units quite a bit. I've probably done at least 15 storage units prior to the past several years. And I've moved away until the crying unit, which Clay's going to make a video on at some point. Yeah. It was 10 by 30 filled floor to ceiling with so much junk. There was some good stuff in there, but
it only took me like 8 days working alone and 2 with Brian.
Like, hold on. Out. Can you talk to him about the crying unit for a second? I gotta go grab something. I'll be right back.
Yeah, we bought it and it was an hour away from my house, and I guess 30 minutes or so past Brian, maybe over an hour. So I got lots of miles to write off, but yeah, Brian was crushed. Yeah, so it was a huge unit, and I made money. He made money. I sold like some generic clothes to my sweet spot right over here. The lady who's become a friend. And then I've got hard goods at home that I need to list. Like this super cool 1940s Cleveland, when they were the Indians, little rubber mascot thing. It's probably worth $50 or $60. And it would kill most people. They're like going, you haven't listed that? You got it in December? Yep. But I'll get to it at some point. My death pile is solid money at least, so But yeah, that'll be a mini part video. I gotta upload this stuff to our editor to make a video. So, Tommy, I was able to get Reese last week on Cloud. Yeah, it was an on Cloud, and then at the bins the other day, 1 Hoka and 1 on Cloud. I searched and searched, but couldn't find the matching one, so I gave up. It was time to check it out.
So yeah, I guess you gave them the rundown. Let me answer Scott's question, then I'll go back to like the squirrel. So far we have 5 orders this week. 2 have been shipped out. 2 were local pickup. 2 were subscribers from my channel locally, and then 1 is somebody in the group, which is a bigger order, which Clay and I are working, mostly Clay, but I'm also, when I'm finding stuff, adding. Hopefully this weekend, if not, maybe early next week. I hope to have that one done. So my mind was, and I was talking about this earlier. So my mind, I think I get bored with routine, which I know Clay loves variety, and I get it. I do too. Like I think that's the basis of the squirrel. I think that's why so many people like to be everything sellers. So I've been niched down for a long time, and I've tamed the squirrel. So I'm adding the wholesale, which I think makes sense because it's minimal work, make a little bit of money, not a lot, but a little bit of money. I'm helping people, so that's a win. And so my mind starts thinking, well, Clay and I know, we're not going to go into how, but we know several means of sourcing inventory cheap. And I'll give y'all another one. It's storage unit auctions. Like I want a storage unit auction Clay and I went in together on this one. It's probably been 2 years ago, and we paid $80 for it, and it was loaded with athleisure, Nike, Adidas, Levi's, like good resale brands. So it's $40 a piece, and we probably we split it, washed it, split it, sold it, and we probably had 300 or 400 pieces each. Clay, you think? Does that sound about
Yeah, I
right?
don't know, it's a lot.
It was a lot. It's
Yeah,
been a
even if
while.
it was a couple hundred, it's a lot. For me, especially, it's just starting out.
All right, let's just say 300 because it was a lot. I'm pretty sure it was at least 300 pieces. So 300 pieces for $40. So that would be perfect for wholesale. So I was looking at a couple of storage units, and there was, I'm looking for ones that are. This is the thing, like to make sense, it has to be mostly shoes and or clothing. If it's an everything unit, like the crying unit Clay was talking about, that doesn't make sense for where I'm at right now. So I found a couple. I got outbid. I put a $10 bid on one unit, which was nothing but, I don't know, probably 3 or 4 big black outdoor garbage bags, and it looked like there was clothes in there, but you couldn't see anything. Like, it's a total crapshoot. Like, normally when you bid on storage unit, you want to be able to see something profitable, and then the theory is you'll bid on what you can make from that, and anything else is extra. Well, on this, couldn't see anything, but I knew it was clothes, or it could be linens too. And so I said, I'll do a $10 bid. I won it at $10, and I picked it up. I haven't even gone through all the bags. I've gone through a small little bag and a box, which was just with books. So not stuff that I really want. But, I still got like 3 more bags to go through. So, like, my question is, like, is that a squirrel brain? Because I drove to Fort Worth to clean out the unit. It only took me like 20 minutes because it was a 5x5. And I brought all that stuff that's in my storage unit. My plan is like maybe bring home a bag a day. Is that squirrel brain? But what if those bags are loaded with good clothing, and then that's a cha-ching? So I think that that's okay, but it is somewhat of a risk. We'll have to see.
At least that one is so cheap.
Yeah, well, yeah. There's 2 things you got to factor in: money, and then time. Like time is also valuable. Like you can actually put a price tag, because you figure out what you can make working, and then, like, I'm not saying you have to work all the time. Like last night, my daughter Emma, she had friends over end of the year. They had like a luau, a little pool party.
A kegger.
No, she's about to move to the 11th grade, but anyway, like, so spending time with family is really important. It's so important when you think about like how much you can make per hour, say reselling, which I would say at least $50 an hour, probably more. So I'm not an advocate of working all the time and neglecting your family, but I would just use it to look at the lens of spending time with your family is very, very important. And it's very valuable because you can actually put a dollar amount on it. And I'm not saying you can put a dollar amount on your family's time, but just so you realize it's precious is my point. I'm kind of rambling.
If it ends in divorce, you can with lawyer fees. But
well, no, yeah. If you're doing that, then you're probably not spending any of that or very little of that time with family.
Not that that's happened in my family over several generations, of course.
Yeah, all right, we'll try not to go into the therapy session now, but yeah.
It just popped in my brain. Too easy of a joke, to not make.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and there was a period like when I first went into full time, when I went reselling September of 2020, like a couple of weeks out, a week or so after Clay did. Like, I was scared and I was excited, so I was probably working 12 to 16-hour days there for a long time.
Oh yeah, you did. Yeah, you were. Oh yeah, I forgot.
I was a machine, probably for at least 6 months to a year. Like,
yeah, because I sometimes take pictures and stuff.
Oh yeah. Well, I was happy because I wasn't teaching, so I was happy to do it, but also scared because, the thing about teaching, you get a steady paycheck and it's hard to get fired, to be honest.
Yeah.
probably even more so today with all these teachers leaving, and I don't blame them with all the crap they got to go through, and not to mention, you know, you can get killed now as a teacher. Like I used to be a police officer too, and that was part of the job. Like you knew that, but as a teacher, you're not signing up to possibly. All right, I don't want to go down that road too much. That's too dark. But anyway, I was excited, but I was also scared because I didn't have guaranteed money. Now I've kind of stabilized. I'm still not where I want to be by any stretch of the imaginations, but like I've got a better balance. Like I get up. My wife usually gets up at 6, even though she is a teacher and she's about to be off for summer. So I'll have to probably because she'll sleep in. Like I'll probably get up. I might sleep in until maybe 7. I don't know. Sleep until 7. I get up, go to my storage unit, pull my orders. I'm running now 3 times a week. I get my weekend run. Accountability. I shoot Clay a little screenshot just to show him that I did it. And I'm trying to encourage Clay to get back into running. And I know I can't push hard. He won't do it. He'll be ready when he's ready. But I'm hoping that him seeing my big, fat, slow self running will like maybe spark something where he's going to start. You're muted. Can't hear you. Still can't hear you. Yeah. So anyway, but my point was like balance, right? Some balance, because like reselling, as Tech would say, is a great way to multiply dollars. Really, it's kind of like it's almost like you're breaking the code that you can pick something up for a couple of bucks and you could sell it for 30, 40, 50 bucks on eBay or different platforms. Like that's a cheat code almost. So, but you don't, you know, I think you need to be balanced. Like your whole existence, I don't think should be just about reselling. I mean, I know the whys are important. Like my why is to make enough to get my wife where she doesn't have to teach. Craig, let's add Craig's comment. He says, if Clay needs running shoes, I know a good eBay store that sells them. This is true. Even though while he's out there sourcing for me, he does come across shoes. And that's one of Clay's things. Like he'll tell you, I told him he's going to need to build a new closet because he loves all the eclectic fashion he can find for super cheap, and you know, and including shoes. But yeah, and I know Tommy was in the chat earlier, and I know Tommy's got the good deal on the news. Clay and I are a little jealous about. All right, you got audio now?
Huh? Yeah, I don't know what. Here's that deal. I had it plugged into the car, but the connection wasn't good, so sometimes it was using the CarPlay and then not, and then I just couldn't hear anything or whatever. So, yeah. So I changed my name with Tommy's suggestion of the Clay's karaoke, and then I thought that could be a.
Are you gonna sing?
Clay's karaoke.
So not right now. Singing in your videos?
The problem, see, and I was telling Chad, I get it, but it does stink that, like, you know, you just want to make a fun video and, like, yeah, do a karaoke thing, but you can't play someone's music because, YouTube will be like, no. And you're like, but you let people on Instagram, which you also own. So you're like, why can't I? We're just trying to have fun, most people.
To bring that back to reselling, even like Whatnot is live auction, and a lot of it is based on people creating a cool vibe, cool mood, and they're playing music, but they're streaming that. So eventually, like when are they going to start getting hit with copyright?
Yeah,
I think it's a matter of time, because a lot of those, man, they're very protective, those artists, especially their families after they pass away.
Because most artists, what is it? I've heard like, off of Spotify, they make it's like a few cents. They're not making like much money to begin with, you know. So
yeah, I understand both sides. It does suck. Like you and I, like you were with me when we went garage selling, and I made that garage sale video a couple years ago, and we
met Judah,
Judah, this crazy old dude.
He was awesome.
Oh, he was awesome. In Dallas, he had like vintage electronic. He had all sorts of stuff. So I'm filming it. We're looking at electronics. We're talking to him. He's running around the yard. He's got
So great.
music blasting from his garage. And this was an old dude. Um, yeah, and I get that, Scott. Yeah, right now, but think about it. Like on YouTube, you can't do that. On other channels, you can't do that. So I think it's a matter of time before these artists start coming after Whatnot. They probably don't even, it's not on their radar, but eventually it will be. And I'm just curious, like how Whatnot's going to handle that. Like, and not only that, because people, you know, they could be cursing, they can be doing anything. Like Whatnot's brand image, like I'm just kind of curious how that's going to evolve. Like if somebody does something crazy on a live auction, and people do crazy things on live streams, you know, like how does that, where's the liability? Because it's also on Whatnot. It'll be kind of interesting to see how that plays out.
It makes me, of course, think, how could I make money off of notifying the big companies that own big catalogs and the record companies, you know, or whatever? Sure, might screw some resellers, but whatever, you know. I mean, if I'm making money.
Yeah, Tommy has some info. He says you can play music all you want. You just give up the AdSense, also the money. You keep super chats and all. Any artist in ASCAP YouTube has a contract with it. Okay. So, all right. So you can play it, but yeah, that's right. But then you can't monetize, I guess.
Now, what about if you're trying to grow your channel and you're not monetized yet? I guess it also counts against it, possibly. Maybe Tommy will know that answer.
Yeah.
Because maybe, yeah, then Chad and I can do Clay's karaoke, you know?
Yeah, well, then you would have to get monetized with, you wouldn't get monetized through, like he's saying, the AdSense. It would have to be through super chats or buy me a coffee or a page, you know, some other way.
What is that damn buy me a coffee? I hear people.
It's basically a way to give money to.
Is there a button now that I just don't see or something?
I've never actually done it. I'm sure. I don't know. It's probably a
because Adam says it on his deals, like when you were on, and I've watched a couple others. And I'm not saying they're begging. I get it, but like I've done super.
It is. It's begging. I mean, I don't mind. Like that's fine. Yeah,
I do.
You're asking for money. That's begging, right?
I've done super chats with Tommy, you know, Kat in the past, Chris, you know, Rally, whoever here and there. But yeah, the coffee deal, like I just thought it was kind of a term people were maybe using instead of, hey, super chat. They're trying to, you know.
No, I don't know much about it because I haven't used it, but it's a different way. Yeah, I don't know how it works. Really.
God, I have an idea. You can Whatnot guy to do it naked. Buck naked. And that'll be your name. Like George Costanza said, if he was going to be a porn star in Seinfeld, he would have been. And Jerry always was like, I know, Buck naked. He's like, I've told you this before? Yes, George, like 5 times.
Yep. Clay will be there. Clay will be there, Scott, ready to tune in.
Scott, you're a handsome man, but I don't need to see your wiener.
Oh God, boy, this live has really devolved. That's why as we bring Clay on. Tommy said, doesn't hurt your channel in any way. Just make sure it's an ASCAP artist. You will see copyright claims on the video, which means they're paying the artist. Strikes are the bad ones. Yeah, I got one strike. The only strike I've ever got on YouTube was, I don't even know what. I didn't even realize there was music playing in the background. There obviously was, but I don't remember which artist it was. I was like, dang.
Or that time, Tommy, remember I was doing that late night listing and I ate dinner and Tommy and Tracy, they were like listing, you know, it's like midnight, like, hey, we're working. We'll just wait while you eat dinner. So I pointed the camera, the laptop at the TV or something.
Yeah.
And because of either a commercial or a show or something, all of a sudden, like, the video just shut down. So I logged back in. Like we were all watching some program together or something, you know. And
yeah, the algorithm picked up on that.
Al is just a weird guy.
He's everywhere.
That will be, of course, a video, Al and the Go Rhythms. Oh my God. I got to write that down. Al and the Go Rhythms. I mean, I've made that joke, but now that's actually, that's a good thing. Chad will do whatever. He'll make any kind of video too.
Well, can't wait to see it. It's going to be different.
It'll be something.
It'll be something. Whereas my channel is more straight laced. Like, it was just me. It's pretty much mostly reselling. Clay comes on. I know we're taking some side streets, some alleys into who knows where. And I'm always trying to kind of slowly steer us back onto the reselling.
Well, that channel, though, isn't going to be the Clay's Closet. Clay's Closet will be the dumpster diving in the next couple of weeks. And I might change it. Chad doesn't Clay's Closet, but maybe I'll eventually make it C&C's Closet or something, you know?
I don't know, man. Just do it. As I always say, just do it. You can always change it. Just do it.
Well, now that he's unfortunately got time, you know.
So you never answered the question. That is kind of convenient that you lost your audio. So I was talking about balance and reselling and how I'm running 3 times a week. You know, it's nothing major. I'm just easing into it. But like I was telling everybody because Clay used to run marathons for like a decade. And right now I'm running and Clay's not. So I'm trying to encourage him to.
I am when I go in the plasma place. I'm going to look up fall marathons. Well, first I'll look up and see when the registration for the Boston Marathon is. It'd be almost near impossible to go from not running really in 4 years to training in like 14 weeks and run a Boston qualifying time. But part of me is like, why not? I've done it before. So, and if not, maybe I just go run that one.
But why do you feel like you've got to go from not running to a marathon? Like you got 5Ks, 10Ks, half marathons.
5Ks and 10Ks. There's no design.
Why though?
Because remember when we got into running that summer of 2009, I decided I was running a marathon. And ever since it was like,
I'm just trying to understand why. I'm not judging. I just like, interesting.
I'd have no interest because 5K and 10K, as you know, it's different training. Like, you know, you want to go all out, but really you're all out on 5 and 10Ks. And then you get a little slower per mile or a decent amount, maybe ideally on the half and the full. But I don't know, because I know that I know even in September, I really do think I could run a sub 4-hour marathon, especially if I did that one I've done 4 times by Seattle. It's downhill. If it was even 60 degrees at the start, you know, and I can hit the bends in Seattle. They're supposedly good, as we've talked about, and write off a lot of the trip. And I think there's multiple bends up there. I don't know. I'll try to figure that out too today.
I'm not willing to commit to a marathon yet. Like maybe I'll obviously that door is open. Like right now, I just want to get by the fall, run some 5Ks, maybe a 10K in the winter. Maybe in the future a marathon, but like I know my weight, my conditioning, all that, like it would be foolish for me to do that. I would just get injured. And I'm so slow. I'd rather, and I don't even want to say how slow I am. I'm very slow. So, but it's slowly getting better. So I'd rather get that to a decent time before I start trying to up the mileage too much.
No, I get it. Yeah. No, I guess it's kind of like, it is part of like me and a lot of humans. You go black or white, not in the gray kind of. And maybe I just find when I get home tonight or when I'm donating plasma, I'll look up there's several websites for marathons or half marathons or trail races. So maybe I find a trail race that's like an 18 miler where it's walk up, speed walk if you can, and run down. Like that one I did in Tennessee 7 years ago. I mean, that was like real mountains right by Chattanooga. And that was just walk up, jog some, and then try to run down, you know, when I could. And that was, man, tiring. But yeah, so some of it's just like I've run marathons. So that's, you know, it's hard to be like, nothing against 5 or 10K. It's just the challenge, I guess, of, getting back. Can I get back in shape and just go under 4 in a short amount of time?
Right. I hear you. But yeah. And because of your experience, like it'll be easier for you to get back into that.
I think,
it will.
Taylor.
Taylor's in the chat. He had some brisket. I love some brisket. I went sourcing Tuesday, and I had a really good sourcing day Tuesday. Like I picked up some gems. I had Ariat riding boots. I found 2 pair of Tory Burch. I found, oh my gosh, Allen Edmonds, some Jordans, like just some really good shoes Tuesday. So I killed it. And I was over by Six Flags, Clay, and it was around lunchtime. And I usually don't eat breakfast. Yep. Most Dickies, I would say, are mediocre, to be fair.
Did you go to the one? It's the right by like the Sonic, like on Ballpark Way.
Yep, that one.
Yeah.
That one
was
my
not.
dad
That one go to.
That
good.
one is really good. It is.
Isn't
really
it?
Good. It is really good.
That and the original at Knox Henderson, the 2 best by far.
Yeah, that one is really good. Like I will stop there because it's so good. And I went in and squirrel brain. I'm indecisive. I'm looking at all, and the guys that work there, man, they're real friendly. He's like, what you want, brother? I'm like, man, I don't know. I was thinking maybe a brisket plate. He's like, the best deal is the 2 meat plate. I'm like, all right, give me the 2 meat plate. So I got ribs, I got brisket, I got barbecue beans, potato salad, onions, pickles, jalapenos, and the big yellow Dickies cup of Dr. Pepper. And I was hungry, and I'm a big guy, but I'll tell you, I finished my plate. I was so full walking out of there.
Oh, sure. Yeah, like when I used to eat meat still, and I'd started to get into having their baked potatoes, or sometimes before Dad and I'd go to the Rangers, we'd meet out at that the Walmart at Cockrell Hill, because I just hang around school, or I'd go run, right by those warehouses, and I could squeeze in like 2 to 4 miles. So then he pulls up. I change, but I'm just drenched in sweat. My legs, of course, like cramp up because I go from running to just sitting. And then we'd go and I'm starving. Yeah. And I'd have like mac and cheese, like French fries, or the mashed potatoes and a sandwich.
I'm hungry right now, so you're making me hungry.
And I'd just be like, oh my God. Then you go sit in the 90-something degree heat and kind of feel a little better. Yeah, I'm full now because I ate almost a big Nestle, but Clay, I feel better to go get
Clay eats like the 7th grade students he used to teach. Lots of junk food, lots of cheese nips and Cheez-Its and Crunch bars and Cokes.
And that's what killed some of my friends in the running group. They're like going, you run that fast, you run like 30 miles a week instead of most people are like 50 to get faster at least. And you eat like crap. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, but as we know, running's mental, a lot of it. And
that's interesting
compared to other parts of my life.
So, like, if we can bring that back to reselling a little bit, like, so it would be like if you listed, I don't know, if you listed a couple of items a day, you had no systems, no processes, but like your list of your items sold fast and for really big money. Everybody else, like, I'd be pissed. I'm like, I'm sitting here being efficient, working hard, got a much slower sell-through rate, lower ASP, and you're selling your crap that you're taking pictures on a crumpled bedspread and with a cat in the background.
I do have a couple listings where I do have the cat on purpose. I was like, whatever. It was like overalls. I was like, it's gonna sell.
Well, I hope the cat wasn't like laying on there.
No,
they're gonna be like, is this from a pet-free home? I'm like, you see, he's got a cat in the picture.
I don't
just
ever
doesn't want to sell it. That's the equivalent of you eating junk and running marathons as your cat in the picture. Nothing wrong. I love cats too. We've got 2, but obviously with clothing, I wouldn't take a picture with a cat in it because
it was like overalls, and it was like I put it the last picture, but I was like, whatever, and it's sold
the same.
quick.
Here's the thing, like how you are in one part of your life, it usually translates. Like, Clay doesn't take running seriously, but he runs really good times, almost qualified for Boston with his half-ass training. He's not. He was in Tech and Sport in Chris's group No, he was in Chris's group before
Chris-
Tekken Sports Play for like a week. He said, I can't. Even though him and Chris hit it off like we're best buds there, and you know, it's
well,
interesting.
then I started Ubering and couldn't make the call, so it wasn't worth it to pay. Well, I
Taylor,
guess I
thanks.
better go.
Hold on real quick. Thanks for dropping by, Taylor. Actually, I am selling right now clothing. I'm doing wholesaling, but yeah, so I'm not looking to buy any clothing right now. If you got shoes, though, I could talk. I'm buying shoes. I'm wholesale selling clothing myself right now. All right, go ahead, Clay.
Muy zapatos.
Yeah.
I'm going to go so I can get inside because the parking lot's fairly full, and usually it takes like 20
Wait,
or
where are
30
you
minutes.
at? I'm just curious. Wait, well,
Yeah.
are
At
you
the plasma
sourcing or
place.
dropping off?
Huh?
Is this the vintage stuff that you drop off to your buyer?
No, this is the plasma. I'm going to donate
Oh,
plasma.
the plasma. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Make it
All
easy,
right.
125, because I can't do it again until Sunday, which is fine. But like next week, I have to wait till Friday. And I could have gone this Wednesday, but I didn't, so I'm kind of like, I want to make sure I get all 8 of the $125 payments in those 6 weeks, because so people, if you're out there watching, look into donating plasma. I mean, you just sit there. It's not, I mean, unless you take one of like, maybe there's like 10 or 15 medicines, like that you might not be able to donate. You just sit there. It's just make sure you're hydrated.
We'll go give you your plasma, man. Don't pass out.
I'll be in the chat. Okay.
All right. All right. Let me read.
Emo foes.
All right. Clay's weird. So Tommy, all right. So I disagree with this, Tommy, but let me talk about it. So Tommy says ASP is the only way to scale solo, which for the record, I disagree with. Can't make more hours in a day, which is true. Volume can only go so far before you run out of hours, which is, in my opinion, not true. So there are a couple ways. You can, like Tommy's saying, you can go high ASP, high sell through, and you can do a comfortable living. Unless you get a great source like Tommy has for shoes. Like if you get a gold level source where you get very in demand items, of course, you can scale that as much as you have inventory, but most people aren't going to, that's a very sought after source. In the group, there are many people, and I even scaled by myself to up to 50 a day with just small brand clothing. And like this time last year on eBay, I was doing, I don't know, I think I did 16 or 17K. I'm not saying that's amazing, but I'd never sold clothing before, and my cost of goods were really cheap. So you can definitely scale. And there's some people in Tekken Sports Group that have scaled where they're making, hundreds of thousands, if not millions. To do that, you have to get all your practices in order. You've got to be selling similar items. You've got to be very efficient. You've got to be streamed. And you could also, once you max out, like Tekken Sports got to the point, I think he was listing 160 items a day by himself. And a lot of people will say, he said it almost killed him. And a lot of people say that's not possible. But I've seen Tekken Sports, I've seen his video where he's walked us through his listing process where he can do a listing in 30 to 45 seconds. But then you reach a point where you can't do anymore, and then you can hire employees, right? Then you could scale more. So there's different models and there's different ways to go. Like right now, I'm not on the crazy scaling model currently. I'm doing shoes. I'm only doing 15 per day. I will be slowly raising that up. But my bottleneck currently is the cost of goods on shoes are higher than they were on clothing. So I've got to get closer to reseller nirvana, and I really want to figure out that niche better before I scale too much. But you can scale, and there's different ways to do it. So Taylor, are you saying you're looking to buy clothing or to sell? Because you said I'm looking for a clothing buyer, if either you're interested. So, but then you're saying I'm looking to spend a few hundred. So I don't know. Are you looking to buy clothes or to sell? I am wholesaling clothes. So if that's the case, here, let me put this back up here real quick. Or anyone else? I've already got 5 orders this week. You can email me at texastreasuresfinds@gmail.com. I'm shipping out boxes of 50 pieces of clothing. This is all clothing that I was selling when I was a clothing reseller, which you should be able to triple or more your money on average. Delivered to you for $250, or if you're in the DFW area, you want to pick up, that's $200. So I've got like 3 local people and 2 orders have shipped currently. So that's kind of what's going on with me with the wholesale. That's kind of like a side business. I'll sell 200K this year, and mall close 45. Yeah, exactly. See, Taylor's on pace to show that can be done. And a lot of people that aren't in tech and sports group, like you wouldn't, it's hard to believe until you actually understand how it's done and you see proof of it. And we have a lot of sellers. Like Andy did a jean call today. He's doing 50K a month in jeans, used jeans, and he's solo. So it's definitely scalable. Someone to source for me. Oh, okay. Yep. Clay, trying to steal my sourcer, Clay. Wichita Falls. Yeah, that's a couple hours from here. I don't know. We can sell you some wholesale if you want to come down. But yeah, finding your own sourcer, like that takes a little work. All right. So what else? So yeah, well, that wasn't really my ceiling, Tommy. Tommy says, right, but your ceiling was 50 a day for 50. And I said, no, it wasn't my ceiling. I could have done more. I was getting faster and faster, and it was 18K on eBay. And my sell-through rate, like I still wasn't at that point last year, because I'm going back and fixing those listings now. Those listings weren't optimized. That's why a lot of it didn't sell. Like at 50 a day, if I did that for 6 months, I would expect to be doing way more than 15K. Like I was doing 18K, I think. It would probably, within a year, you'd probably be doing 20, 25K, maybe more, with that model. Yeah, solo. Yeah, we have people in our group solo doing those numbers. 17 a day every day is 40K a month with. Yeah, but most people aren't going to be able to do 17 a day with $80 ASP. You have the hookup on shoes. Without that, very, very few people can do 17 a day, $80 ASP. I mean, yeah, I think that's a better model. I agree with you. It is better, right? Who is an LC in our group? He does shoes, which is why I switched to shoes. And his ASP is $62. And I think, I could be wrong, I think he's listing 25 a day. And I believe his gross is somewhere between 25 to 30. I could be wrong. I haven't talked to him recently on this. And his model is closer to what you're saying, Tommy. And I do agree that I personally like that model better. And I'm moving more to that model, but I have to be fair and say that the other model works too. It is more work. Like if you're doing the high ASP model, like you're going to spend more time sourcing versus listing, obviously, because 17 a day, more of your time is going to be sourcing unless you hit the gold mine like you did. If you're doing the high volume game, well, most of your time is going to be spent listing. So they both work. That's all I'm saying. Clay said, just saying we can source for him and one of us deliver to him. Yeah, we could talk about it. Taylor's at 35 a day currently. 50, he's got 50K over 90 days. So 15, 16, between 16 to 17K per month. And that number will pick up as your sell-through rate increases. And also over time, staying in that niche, you'll just get better at what you're listing too. Yeah, 35 a day is definitely very solid. 30 a day, as Chris would say, 30 a day, you unless you're crazy, 30 a day, you can make more money than you need for most people. And that's one of the beautiful things about reselling is that we can make there's people making more than doctors in our group reselling. It is a beautiful thing. Tommy said you also have to get years under your belt solo before you can. Well, burnout is different from. I think that's different for different people. Like Tech is a machine. Like he's been doing this over a decade every day. He doesn't miss a day. He just never burns out. Me, I do burn out. Like honestly, I'm really tired. I'm not gonna say I'm burnt out, but like we're taking a trip June 10th. We're taking like, I don't know, like a 4-day trip, which is why I have the draft bank. And I need that trip right now because I know myself, I'm getting close to being burnt out. So I think a lot of people do get burnt out. But everyone's a little different. And there are ways that you can do the volume. Taylor says I could probably do 60 a day if I had more items coming without having to source. Yeah. And once you start making enough, then you can hire somebody to source from you. You can get those wholesale connections, or maybe you have a flea market vendor. Like I had this for a while where you go and you can get all of your items in a couple of hours that will last you for the whole week, which allows you more time to source. All right, there goes Clay trying to pull in the next customer. Yeah, we are sourcing a lot down here, Taylor. So if you want to let us know, well, I will say this: like I don't take. I had some people reach out like for wholesale. I can't do based off a list because with 5 to 10 different people, like there's no way I could keep track of that for sourcing. So I just tell people if they're interested, I'm picking up the items that I sold when I was doing clothing. A lot of your mall brands, your American Eagle, your Levi's, your Wranglers, your Nike, your Nike Polos, your Tommy Bahamas, a lot of mall brands, right? A lot of bread and butter, and of course, also we'll find some better items mixed in. But like, I don't think, at least for me, it wouldn't make sense to provide wholesale if I have to have list, because then it takes too much time to do that. Tommy says it works. Yes, I would never say it doesn't. The work is much more. Yeah. Well, okay. All right. So yeah, I agree with that 100%, Tommy. It's definitely more demanding for sure. And for the record, I like your model better. If I get to the point where I can get those quality shoes, which is my goal. Like I'm getting good quality shoes, but I'm having to source a lot of places, and I don't know what my actual ASP is currently, because like I'm still selling a lot of clothes that are going for lower, and I'm mixing in some higher ASP shoes. So I won't really know what my shoe business looks like until I have all the clothes sold out. All right, have a good one, Taylor. Have a good weekend. Thanks for dropping by. Yeah, but here's the thing, Tommy. He only had employees. He basically started with employees just like 2 years ago. He was doing this himself, like, and I'm paraphrasing, but like he started like everyone else, and he realized what a good deal it was, and he slowly scaled up. 30 a day, 60 a day, 80 a day, 100 a day, 120. I think 140, and then he got to 160, and he said 160 almost killed him. And tech is a different beast. Like you'd have to be in the group to really talk to him, to see him in action. Like he doesn't get tired. He has no social life. And I'm not saying that as a criticism. That's just the way he chooses. He loves building things. Like he's the most together dude, even though I don't agree. Like it's not the same life I want, but he's a different beast. And he did that all by himself for like 10 years, making lots of money before he added employees. Yeah, we do lots of jeans. Nice. Clay pulled a Psycho Bunny shirt for one of our wholesale customers today. That's really nice. You're probably looking at 30, depending on the design on that polo, that golf polo, $30 on that, maybe a little bit more. Yeah, nice pull, Clay. Clay says he's put together business-wise for sure. Personally working on, as you said. Well, yeah, and that's the thing. He's used his eBay money to open other businesses. He has a lawn care service. He has a pool service. He has a tree cutting service. He opened a brick and mortar store where he sells the vintage items locally. He then spawned a Whatnot from the brick and mortar, where he has an employee from the Whatnot store selling, not the, I'm sorry, from the brick and mortar selling on Whatnot. And he probably has another business. He has real estate. Like Tech is a true self-made man, and he's very, very business savvy. He understands processes really well, and yeah, I mean, there's a reason why there's like 2,200 people in the group. Like I joined the group with Chris and them when they're probably less than 100. Like we were like, I'm not gonna say the originals because we had a group before that, but like I've been in the group longer than probably 95% of the people. And like it's kind of amazing seeing what he's done, and so he gives value. He shows people, and we've seen a lot of people in the group. They post their 90 days and immense growth. And some people say, I'm not going to pay $35 for that. Well, I'm going to pay that $35 I can write off if it's going to help me scale my business, which it definitely will if you implement. And I don't know anyone that's implemented everything he says. If you implemented, I probably have implemented maybe half, maybe 60%, because part of it is I'm just stubborn and different reasons. Like I don't want to do flat lays because I'm too tall. It hurts my back. But I've implemented a lot of his processes. Craigslist Hunter does 80K a month with only 1,000 to 1,500 items. Great model, enjoys life. Yeah, I agree, Tommy. Like I'm saying that is a great model. I love Craigslist Hunter. I love his model, and that is great. He does enjoy life. I will say Tech doesn't like to travel. He hasn't done any of that stuff. And each person has to create a model that works for them. I know I don't know his age, but he's probably 40. He's under 40. I think he's in his late 30s, and he's got multi-million-dollar revenue coming in. And he's in the process of getting it where he doesn't have to work anymore. And he's about to take like a 50-year vacation. And he said eventually he's going to move all these things into assets that generate income that don't require work. So he worked his ass off for 15 to 20 years. He made all his money, and now he's getting ready to really enjoy it. But I wouldn't. Well, I don't know very many people. I don't know. There's no one else in the group that's on Tech's level of work, and it wouldn't work for me. And I think I work harder than probably 90% of the people out there. But you know, I do want to travel. I do want to enjoy life currently, because like you're working all this hard and you have this plan, but man, we're not, like we saw with that shooting in Texas, like you're not guaranteed tomorrow. I mean, you probably are, but you can plan for it. You should plan for it. But at the same time, I personally think you got to balance it a little bit. Like what's your why? But everybody's different. And that's the beautiful thing about eBay and reselling, is that you can build a business model that works for you and your circumstances. And you could also change it. Like Lord knows I've changed mine. I at one point I was an everything seller. Then I joined Tech's group, and I did clothing for like the past year, and you know it was definitely working. I don't know. I just didn't want to keep scaling, and I've always enjoyed shoes, and I saw some like 3 or 4 or 5 people in our group that were selling shoes that were doing 15 to 25, 30K per month, listing anywhere from 10 to no more than 30 shoes a day. And I'm like, sign me up for that. Like I said, if my dad had been a reseller, he would have been Tech with the hours he worked and what he sacrificed. Well, but here's the thing, like Tech's wife, and I'm only saying things that he said. I don't feel like I'm giving Tech's whole story, but like his wife, actually, they work together. Like she manages a lot of things. She has her own small eBay store. I think she lists 10 or 15 a day. They're on the same page, and Tech coached his son when he was playing baseball. Tech was always there for his family, but when you extend it outside of his family, like he doesn't go to outside family functions. And it works for him. It works for his family. Everybody's got to figure out what works best for them. But if your wife isn't on board with your plan, then that's going to definitely create problems. Clay says, you can be like me. I've listed one thing, but no, do not. In this case, do not be like Clay. If you're a reseller, you will go broke. Clay's he's helping me source. He's sourcing for another lady where he gets quick cash. He's not maxing out what he can get, but he doesn't like listing. And he also has some other streams of income like driving, Uber, things like that. And Clay likes that variety, and that works for him. Once upon a time, I really butted heads with Clay. I tried to convert him, but I'm at the point where, like, I realize that I try to push my opinions on people way too much, and I'm really trying to pull back on that. I will, and it's hard. Like, there are other ways, and everybody's got to find their own way. Tommy says, yeah, family and fun is more important. That's why I've changed my model so many times, but I follow great people and did sell through from the start, which was always nice. Yeah, that's great, Tommy. I definitely think family and fun is, for most people, really important. To me, it's like this hard work. Like it's to allow you to have fun, to travel, to support your family. And I enjoy, and don't get me wrong, I enjoy reselling. I do, but I wouldn't want to work 16, 18-hour days. I was talking to Clay earlier. There was a period of time when I went full time. I was probably working 12 to 16 hours for like 6-9 months because I was so excited. I was also scared because I left a stable teaching job. I'm like, I've got to make it happen. So I did what I had to do, and then the money kind of stabilized. I still want to grow it, but I also realized I don't have to grow as fast, that I can do this a little bit slower and can still have good results. Yeah, Clay's dad had good success financially. Family, as Clay would more than agree, not so much. Clay says, no, I keep telling you the stuff I sell locally isn't stuff that's going to sell on eBay. So yeah, Clay doesn't want to list. He'd rather sell it locally, and that's fine. That's fine. Quick cash. But Clay's goal isn't to make $50,000 a month. If it was to make $50,000 a month, that wouldn't work. Clay's goal is to make X amount and to live in the moment, and so that works for him. And so that's great. And then yeah, Clay drives Miss Daisy, this lady, around, and she pays him way too much. I think he's a pimp. She pays him way too much to be driving her around. So Clay's all about finding easy money, and that's different, and that works for him, and that makes him happy. And everybody's got to figure out their model and what's going to make them happy. For me, like, I do have bigger goals. Like my next goal is, like, I want to get back over 20K a month. Like, I'm selling on eBay and Poshmark, a little bit of Facebook Marketplace. And I think like in May, we've got a few more days. I'm going to probably be between 16 to 17K gross between those platforms. I want to get over 20K per month, and then, get up to 20, just keep growing that. But still have time to do everything else. And right now I'm trying to do that with shoes primarily, and also trying to do the wholesale clothing for people who are looking for clothing, and that's kind of been fun, and so hopefully that keeps working. But it doesn't take long to box up a bag of clothing, to if it's being shipped, to create a label on Pirate Ship, or if it's local. Most people are coming locally to pick up. I do have one lady I agreed to deliver it to her, but she's doing a much bigger order. So yeah, if you're thinking about your time, your money per hour, which is kind of the way I look at it, Like it has to be efficient for me. All right. Anybody got any questions? How's everybody's week in reselling been going? It's almost dinner time here. I'm gonna go a few more minutes if we don't get me more questions. Speaking of family time, I'm gonna have some little dinner and hang out with the family. Personal level, Mavericks lost last night to Golden State. I know in the group a lot. We talk about that in the mornings. There's some basketball fans. It was sad, but then again, I mean, Golden State. I mean, if you think about it, they've got 3 Hall of Fame players on their squad. They've got a number 1 pick as probably their 4th best player. Like that team is just loaded, and the Mavericks can't really compete with that. We got Luka, which was the best player in the series, but too much is being asked for him. So, oh yeah, the Disney Obi-Wan, also Stranger Things on Netflix. So we got some TV viewing. Kind of being bad with the food. We ordered some Domino's. I got some pizza, keeping warm in the pizza. See, the wife likes the thin crust hamburger and onion. My daughter Emma likes the thin crust spinach and feta cheese. I'm being bad today. I ordered the pan pizza, beef and what did I? Jalapenos, I think jalapenos. Yeah. Freaking pools. Yeah, they got pool, which, gosh, if you compare, like, the other on game 4 when we had the big lead and we put in our second team and they put in their second team and they killed us. That just shows you the depth difference. Like the Mavericks got to add depth, and like I predict Golden State's winning a championship this year. They're just too good. Oh yeah, you got Top Gun at the movies. There's a lot of entertainment out there to view if you're into that. Clay says, I'm getting pizza when I leave here. Had El Phoenix last night. Yeah, Clay's obviously over his Lent stuff. I feel you. I love El Phoenix for sure. Great jalapenos. Yeah, love the jalapenos. Love the jalapenos. We were talking about brisket when Taylor was on here earlier. Had some brisket Tuesday while I was out sourcing. Had some 2 fresh jalapenos with those smoked ribs and that Texas sliced brisket. So good. So good. Tommy says, I do everything in dollars. That's why I list by dollar amount. I never pay attention to the number of listings really unless looking at my data. I'm trying to get to number 2 women's. Well, here's the thing, Tommy. But like, what if you found one item that was your total amount for the day? You ran into a rare pair of shoes that were worth, I don't know, $5,000. So you're just gonna take the rest of the day off? See, that would be my counter to that argument. I think you need to keep in mind ASP and dollar amount. Well, it just depends. Like if you're doing a volume, it's so, there's so many variables. I like to have a number. I think I try to keep in ASP when I'm sourcing, right? So like for me with shoes, I really don't want to pick up anything less than $30. I prefer it to be in the 40 plus range. I'd say a lot of these shoes I pick up were probably 40 to 80. I prefer that spot, but like if I'm on a dollar day or a garage sale and I find a pair of sandals for $1 that I know right now will sell very fast and they'll sell for 20, I'll pick those up because it doesn't take long to list them. So I tend to focus more on the dollar amount on the sourcing end than on the listing end. Supa 405, thanks for dropping by the channel. Clothing seller here. How important is item description if title is maximized and item condition field is filled out? All right. So people can find your items through search, also through left-hand navigation, which is your item specifics. If you look at eBay's quality listing report, where they measure all the things that eBay values in a good listing, they're both important, right? I would say you need good title and you need good item specifics. Now, I will also say this: don't be obsessed with trying to get that blue bar all the way filled out. there are some item specifics for different categories that are important. I don't fill out every one, and I don't put NA in boxes either. Put the ones that are relevant and important, because when people are searching for your items, maybe let's say they're looking for I don't know, what do we got here? Where's my shoes? Let's say they're looking for some Vans, right? And so maybe they just put Vans men's, right? So that's going to bring out a lot of them. But they may then go to left-hand navigation and click on the size and the color. So think about it from the way of what is your potential customer shopping for. So you'll want those important item specifics filled out. If it's not important, then you don't need to do it. At least that's the way I look at it. Clay says, hey, at least I finally kicked the addiction, looks like. So the bad eating I'm still okay with. Took 30 years to kick that. So next is eating, working out, sleeping more. Yeah, well, we're about to finish Atomic Habits in the group. I lead the book club call on Monday nights. And we've also read Gary Keller's The One Thing. And they've looked at habit formation. On average, it takes 66 days to form a habit. The more complex the habit, it takes longer. The less complex, it takes less time. So, and they'll even tell you in the book and on the podcast, The One Thing, that when you try to, you can really only form one new habit at a time for most people to be successful. So just pick one, get that one where it's a habit where it doesn't take mental energy to think about, and then add your next one. That's what I've been trying to do over the past year and a half. Clay said, good question. Title is very important. He will tell you how he does it. Well, it depends. Like what are we listing there? Oh, clothing. Yeah, well, and eBay wants it a certain way, right? Let's say you've got wearing Nike. I think this is Nike. Let's say you've got a Nike polo shirt. This isn't a polo, but so you would want to be you want to have brand. Let me see, for clothing. I've been doing shoes for a while, so it'd be Nike brand. What is it? The type Nike polo shirt, or in this case, T-shirt. Nike polo shirt. Gender, men's, size extra large. And then all the other relevant keywords, like if it was a golf polo, you would want to put that in there. Dry fit, running, like who's using these things, all those other keywords at the end, because the beginning of the title carries the most weight, and you want to cast that big net, and then those keywords at the back are gonna pull in the other people. And I will say, as I fix my older listings each day, the titles are structured horribly, and people aren't able to find them. Like, for example, one of the listings would be like women's blue denim stretch mid-rise jeans low-rise denim. Like, it's the worst title, and no one can ever find it. Not to mention the item specifics. Sometimes my VAs were making horrible mistakes, and they were filled out incorrectly. So yeah, you definitely want to get both of those. Why not? That's what it's all about, free time. So yes, meet goals, shut off lights. Yeah, I guess I'm behind on the chat a little bit, so I don't remember what that was in relation to exactly. Let's see, Clay asking about resin, the DFW. Description is for selling the item. Title is for being found in search. Description isn't searchable. Now Tommy didn't say description. He said item specifics. Item specifics are also searchable. Yeah, description is for more information, but both title and item specifics are both help with search. Blue bar. Well, it's not a bar, it's a blue circle. Yeah, eBay's gamified it, but they've kind of created a monster. People are really trying to fill that out and put item specifics, and sometimes those item specifics aren't necessary. Nothing will be as hard as kicking addiction. It's also why running is so easy, because compared to real life, it's nothing really. I learned to disassociate as a kid and during addiction. Yeah, Clay needs to start a therapy channel. There's another idea for you, Clay. Yeah, and I will say, like, for me, like when I'm running in the morning after going to the storage unit, like I feel I have so much more energy throughout the day, and it is good for stress management and health. Your body releases ketones, which helps your brain fire better. So yeah, definitely for it. Tommy says, yeah, item specifics. If it's not a keyword or something, someone will search or filter. It's empty. People crack me up. Yeah, right on with that. Some people don't know that you don't have to fill out every item specific. Hey, what's going on, Bo? Bo just scored 300 pieces of clothing at $1.80 each. I love it. Volume clothing at a great price. Nice score, my friend. Tommy says, there is way more to search results than title, though. It's a complex algorithm, title, item specifics, handling time, and account. Yeah, and I never said it was just title. I was just answering the question, but title is one of the very important pieces of that. Are you top rated seller? What is your handling time? Do you offer free returns? There's so many. eBay's quality listing report shows you every single factor that is important. Though, and I made a video on that. If you look through my YouTube channel and search it, you'll find the eBay quality listing report. It's eBay's report card, and all of that factors in. So yes, it's not just title. I agree. If you have had two Vero violations, would you start a new store? Nope. I would stop selling those items that are getting me Veros. Like part of being a reseller, you really got to have your ear to the ground and know which brands. Like for example, and that's the importance of niching down. Like as a shoe reseller, I sourced a pair of Filas. Fila is giving a lot of people Veros on eBay right now. So I did not list those on eBay. I listed those on Poshmark where it's not as big of a deal. So I guess my question, Brady, like what are you selling? What are you getting Veros in? Like in our group, in Tech and Sports group, we have a thread dedicated to Veros. And anytime someone in the group gets a Vero or Vero, they post it in there. And so you can search it and you can look through all the brands that you can see in real time what people are getting Veros for. And so you've got to like educate yourself up front and not list those items, because account health is the most important thing. Like if you don't have an account, if you get your eBay account suspended, then you can't sell, you can't make money. So that's the single most important thing. And starting a new store wouldn't actually even help because it's still under your name, and eBay is going to know that that's you. So, eBay typically there's a process, and we think a Vero drops off after about a year. Just get rid of those items that are causing you the Vero, and get educated. I don't know if you're in Tech's group or not. If I were you, if you're not in the group, I would join it. I get nothing from it. That money goes to Tech and Chris. And then once you're in the group, search in the Facebook group for the Vero post, and you will find a €2 post dedicated to Veros, and you could look through all the brands people have been Veroed with, and you'll see the ones, and that's very valuable. Like I learned about Phila, like several of our shoe resellers got hit real quick, and I was like, okay, make sure I don't have any Phila listed. Tommy said he said item description in the question. Maybe he meant, well, maybe so. Maybe my brain just, yeah, I don't know. If he said that, I was thinking, anytime I see item, I think specifics. The item description, yeah, it used to be, I mean, Google can search through that. I think they used to use it. I don't think they currently are. The description is, you want, like for clothes, like that's where I put measurements. That's where I put my shipping policy. I put ship same or next day shipping. I put the measurements, any issues or defects with that item, I would put down there. You don't want to put too much in there because people that don't like to read, and a lot of people don't read at all. So they're not going to read it, but you want to put that in there because it also covers you for an INAD. If somebody tries to return it for a false INAD, you then have proof. No, I put that the pair of jeans were distressed. There was a hole in this place, yada, yada, yada. Tommy says, accept account health. It doesn't show traffic reduction for late shipments or screw ups. Account health and sales history on an item if you sold it 100 times as you. Yeah, if you have a replenishable or yeah, if you have sales history in a certain niche, eBay will funnel you more traffic. I'm not talking about late shipments. Well, I'm talking about your handling time. Like if you do 1 day handling or less, then you could qualify for top rated seller, which that does affect your search visibility. If you get too many late shipments, that will affect your account health. Like you got to be above 95%. I think there's a lot of this stuff that's important. Yeah, Bo's in the group. He knows the group provides excellent Vero information. Absolutely. Clay's back. I know everyone was just waiting. No, we've been chatting away, Clay. We've been focused without you. Yeah, Clay donates plasma, makes easy money. That's his nickname. Good, helping people, making a little money. I'll be honest, I'm a big dude. I'm like 6'4", like 250. I don't like needles. If I wasn't I will get like lightheaded and almost pass out. Like it's embarrassing, but it's true. So yeah. All right. Speaking of, my daughter just dropped by. It's about dinner time. Take a few more questions, and I'm going to wrap it up. Tommy says that's why I use out of stock. Just change pick size. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can use out of stock. You're going to have to spend more time with your inventory, and making sure your inventory is straight. That's the danger of out of stock, but yeah, it can work for that. How many items are in your store? I'm down to 5,600-ish. Yeah, 5,600-ish. Probably 4,900 are clothes and about 700 are shoes. I'm transitioning from clothes to shoes. That's why I'm wholesaling clothing. Not for my store, but that I can still source for cheap and sell to people. But I'm trying to grow my shoe business. I'm not even going to post that comment, Clay, on the live feed. You see, yeah, I don't even want to talk about it. We ain't talking about it, dude. We ain't talking about it. But yeah, I'm at 50. I hit 6,000, but I hit a 6,000 item store before I switched to shoes, and I'm now selling more than I'm listing. I'm probably averaging 20 to 25 sales per day. I'm currently listing 15 per day, 15 shoes. So my store is slowly reducing, and that's okay because I want to sell out of the clothing and just have nothing but a shoe store at this point. Yeah, so trying to shrink the store, and then once I'm just shoes, then I'll want to grow the store. But really, the site, like I would rather have a 0 item store and everything sell in a week at high ASP. That's the ultimate goal. Like bulking up on a store, it's a kind of a natural byproduct of doing the volume game. Like a lot of people in our groups, like Tech has a 40 or 50,000 item store. There are a lot of big stores because if you're listing 100 a day, let's just say you're listing 100 items per day. If you sold 50 or 60 items per day, your store is still growing 40 to 50 items per day. And then over time, if you're creating good quality listings, good titles, good item specifics, all the tough stuff that Tommy and I were talking about, you'll eventually reach reseller nirvana where you're selling roughly what you're listing per day. And at that point, theoretically, you wouldn't even need a storage. So there's a lot of factors, right? If you want a giant store and you don't have, if you're not at reseller nirvana, then do you have the inventory space? Do you have storage units? Do you have a place in your house? Do you have a warehouse to facilitate that? Yeah, I'm not talking. We ain't talking that, Clay. We're going back to Brady. If my sell-through rate is 4%, would you raise your price? 4% per, what's the period of time? Per month? Per 90 days? per day. Like a 1% sell-through rate per day is a really good sell-through rate. So you got to clarify. Were we talking about per month? Most people talk per month, or maybe 90 days. Tommy's 399 items. Yeah, but see, yeah, Tommy's got that good stuff. He's got those good sneakers, those good running shoes that are in hot demand. Like if you sold video games, you're gonna have a very high sell-through rate probably. A lot of it's going to depend on your category. Like for clothing, the last time I checked, the average sell-through rate is like 8% per month. So Brady, if you're saying 4% per month, that is low. We would have to see your store. Like typically raising your prices isn't the answer. We just have to see, because pricing is one of the biggest factors that affects sell-through rate. And typically, with some exceptions, typically the lower price items will sell faster for sure. I don't know your store, but the factors are like, what are you picking up? If you're picking up items that there's not a lot of demand for, then you're going to have a very slow sell-through rate. If you're picking up items that people want, but you're priced too high out of the market, you're also going to have a low sell-through rate. If you're picking up items, you don't have a good title, you don't have the right item specifics, people aren't going to be able to find your item, you're also going to have a slow sell-through rate. So there's a lot of factors. Maybe on another live earlier, Brady, if you want to share your store, I can do a review, or you can email me at Texas. Here, I'll put it up here. Email me, Brady, at texastreasuresfinds@gmail.com. I've done store review videos. I can make a YouTube video where I review your store, look at it specifically, and I can give you some tips and tricks that hopefully will be able to help you. So feel free to email me, and texastreasuresfinds@gmail.com, and I'll be glad to look at your store sometime and do a review to try to help you out, to give you some advice, because it's hard to say without looking at your store. Bo's at 2,800 item store selling 18 a day. I like it. $18 ASP. I like it. I like it a lot. And Clay says Tommy is living the dream. You can buy all the. I know, Clay. I feel like Tommy just comes in here like he knows I'm a shoe reseller. He's just rubbing it in my face. His high ASP shoes, his fast sell-through rate, while I'm struggling over here, trying to make it. Man, the rich get richer and us lowly are struggling. Yeah, he's living the dream and trying to rub it in our faces with his gray poupon. Getting chauffeured around in a Bentley or what are they driving that commercial? It's not a Bentley, is it? I don't know, like an old classic rich person car. Tommy pay. Yeah, I'd pay up too. I'd pay up too. Like, and that's the thing. Like I paid up. I picked up a pair of Jordans. I paid like $15 and change. They were at the thrift. They were in really good condition, and comps are 60 to 100. And some people would pass on that. Like, no, I'm not going to pay over whatever the normal price is. Like, I'll pay up all day if it's got a high ASP and a good sell-through rate and it's in good condition. No problem with that. Rolls Royce. Yep. Thanks for that, Clay. All right, guys. We got pizza in the oven waiting. I've got to get that deep dish pizza. And wife and daughter got some thin crust. I know we've talked pizza. We've talked candy bars. We've talked snacks. We talked barbecue. We've talked shoes. We've talked wholesale. We've talked clothes. The only thing to make this would be better would be a beer. And then I think we'd have a good Friday evening. I told Real I don't talk about gross most times because it's all smoke and mirrors. I'm not impressed by anyone's gross numbers. We aren't selling reality. Well, unless they share their other things. I mean, gross is part of it. I agree. It's not all of it. Like, what are you spending? What's your cost of goods is a big question in there. What are your fees? Like, what your promoted listings, like all these, net profit is the most important. But I also think just to simplify it, like sometimes the gross is good for people to get an idea of what you can sell gross, and then you have to factor in all those other things. All right, guys. Thanks everyone for coming by. Smash the like button if you haven't. One last plug: if you're interested in wholesale clothing, you can email me at texastreasuresfinds@gmail.com. I'll probably do another boxing video, kind of showing the items that are being boxed and shipped out. Thanks everybody for coming by. Have a good night, and we'll catch you on the next one. I'm out. Peace.